All right, it's Thursday, April 24th, just following up on NVDA. You can see here, I bought it here at this lower green line, breaking above the first bar high, as I discussed in the first video. I'll show you in a minute. It hit a key inflection point, this blue line. I wanted to see what happened here. It held, and now it's continuing higher towards kind of our next target, this upper blue line. I just scaled out here at this, green line number 2 to set up a no-risk trade. So I bought NVIDIA at 104.34. I scaled that at 105.50, a little over a point higher. I know this stock's not moving with the volatility of some of the other stocks, but, nevertheless, if you look at the chart and the price action, it's still very nice. So you can just adjust your contract size, so to speak, relative to the volatility in play and where some of the targets are. Obviously, on the daily chart here, now that we've broke, we were above the midpoint of the prior day, good strong start. I expected these double highs to be tested. That was kind of that first blue line I mentioned. If we held there, then all of a sudden we now have a target to this high right up here into this gap. So that's why I have this line in place, and that equates to up here close to 107. So, this was the key inflection point here. I wanted to watch it closely since it held here with one bar and continued higher until proven otherwise. Now we are heading up here. It doesn't mean you could either wait if you want to be aggressive and try to exit more closer there, or for me, I take base hit gains along the way on the way up, and I kind of still know the targets, but you never know for sure, and I just do what I feel like doing in terms of relative to number one, where my stop would be the midpoint of this first bar. I try to, scale out at a point where I set up a break-even scenario. And, I just like to take profits along the way up, even if I, miss the target sometime. Now I stay aggressive with this next part of the trade to see if we get up there. So we'll see if that happens. Overall today, like I said, it's a strong start on the day. I kind of shot a mid-morning or a morning update video on the SPY as to, even though yesterday we had a little bit of a red bar to close the session, you kind of were expecting to test lower. It did it in the pre-market, but once it opened up strong, you had to kind of exit that scenario, and this was a key inflection point. And once we broke through there, now we're on the SPY, kind of looking at a weekly chart that failed on the inside bar, essentially break out to the downside, came through the midpoint, and by the end of the week you expect to test those highs. So that's why a lot of stocks and the indexes today are moving higher, and you had a good opportunity to get in before this inflection point, see what happens. And you can see, if you've traded the SPY today, what a nice move it is to the upside. I happen to trade NVIDIA, which is doing okay, and we'll see if it moves up a little higher, and also Microsoft today right at the open, which is moving up really nicely as well, and I've exited at a bunch of these targets. So good day to the upside today, even though you were possibly expecting a little test lower. But you knew in the SPY there was a little conflict in play, because on the daily chart, while you expected the low to be tested after that day, you still knew on the weekly part of the equation you're to the upside and working towards the top of this range up here. So you kind of knew that, and that's why any trade this morning you wanted to be nimble to make sure this followed through to the upside, and any expectation of really heading lower after this big gap up, a little exhaustion risk after 2 days, you had to realize you might not come down all that far. So it all would have been based on how opening price action moved relative to the pre-market range. In this case, after trying to go lower overnight, instead things strengthened up. So you didn't have that weakness out of the gate that you were kind of looking for, and that was another sign that this is more of a pause day yesterday versus some kind of key reversal at the top of a range. And we're going to see now if we can break through here, if we can get to the top of the range up in here in the SPY. So let's just see what unfolds as we head higher. And for today, we'll kind of monitor on the SPY anyway what the daily chart is, how it ends up. Can we break through the top of this green bar eventually, or is it still kind of more of a nimble air? The more we come up here and just kind of pause and don't really reverse, the more we're kind of building for more of a powerful breakout to the upside. So we'll keep that in mind going forward.